guys, what's up? I'm Albert Green, and this is the Music Talk podcast. Today we're joined by Mingue. She is a singer and writer from the Netherlands, and introduce yourself.
Hi. So you said that. I'm Minge. I'm a writer and a vocalist. I live in the Netherlands, and I grew up here in the Netherlands as well. And at the moment I'm working from the Netherlands mostly, of course.
So what's your background regarding music?
So actually, I've already had quite of a ride in the industry, I guess. I studied at the conservatory here in Holland, but that was actually after I went to high school in America, in Maine, for a year. And in that 1 year, I was really encouraged to pursue music. And when I got back in Holland, I still had a few high school years left, but I auditioned and went to a conservatory. And after that, I was mostly into more indie pop singer-songwriter kind of vibes. It was actually my art. So I did that for a lot of years. I produced 3 albums and done cool stuff. But now, since a few years, I landed into the dance and EDM scene.
So what got you into that?
Well, it's nice how things can go organically. So the third Mingue's Pretty Heroes used to be my project. Album was cool, but I got a bit tired of being the independent artist, and at the same time different publishers were starting to show interest in me and my work, but I didn't really know what publishers do, so I started dating. I call it dating. I said, let's just work for a few months and see what you do, and you can see what I do. And then I did that with 2 different publishers at first. It was fun. I wrote for some Dutch pop artists, and we got releases. But then the third one, that's the publisher I'm signed to right now, Music All Stars. And the publisher saw me performing at a theater festival. I was actually singing Kate Bush, so not dance at all. He liked my voice, and then we just started talking. So I started dating with them, and then dance was pretty new for me. So I actually had to decide, am I going to do this? Because I'm not very experienced yet. But I really liked the opportunities that were out there, and I was ready to see my craft or my skills, my creativity as work, and then use it as a craft instead of just an art product.
Yeah. So did they help you at all with really getting other artists to collaborate with?
Yeah, definitely right away, because so their mission is to develop me as a writer, and that we do that through just working. So actually my first 2 releases, they happened quite quickly with EDX. That was a remake of a song, and the other one was with Bolier Riverbank. That was an original, and they did quite well for my first 2 releases in the dance scene. And so that's what they basically do. They set me up with producers, DJs, writers, and then of course organically my network started to grow, and now I don't always need my publisher, but it's very good to be partnered up with them for me.
Yeah. So would you say that without them you wouldn't be where you are, or do you think you'd eventually get to that place independently?
I probably would have been able to get here somehow. I've always been quite good at networking, and I'm a goal-getter in that sense, but it really, really went so much faster with Music All Stars by my side, and they are a daughter company of Spinnin Records. So
okay, so that's pretty big in the EDM world.
To the fire, yeah, I was close to the big names right away, and I still am. That doesn't guarantee anything, but it's easier to be able to present your work to the right people. So really, really helped me.
So I saw you have a lot of songs with Spinnin Records. Is there any label involved? Any record deal involved?
No, actually, we did talk about that 5 years ago, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. But we couldn't really agree, which was fine because we were just trying it out. And in the end, it was good for me not to be signed to a particular label because I collaborate so much with so many different teams and producers. So I also release with many, many different labels. So for me at the moment, that's best. But if I would go for a solo project again, which I always want to do, then I would love to sign like a 3-song deal or something with a good label.
That's awesome.
But not free agent, as they call it.
So what kind of music are you interested in making, by yourself at least?
Yeah, that's a good question because I did make did sway a little bit. I came from the artsy singer-songwriter stuff. So we would go into a studio with the whole band and record wads of paper, like crushing, and that would be the snare sound, stuff like that.
That's
It's really
awesome.
nice. Yeah, it was so cool. But now, yeah, I really started to get to know the dance music, the EDM, the deep house, and I really start loving that as well. I love working in that sense, but I will always have a big, big heart for pop music.
Yeah.
And yeah, and hopefully the kind that is not too that does have some deepness into it. So there's this emotional vibe, and I guess I listen to the pop artists that do that are really good.
Yeah. So who are you listening to now?
um, at the moment, uh, that would be I would have to go into my Spotify list. No, but it's because I do have a small problem actually that I work in music so much, and maybe you recognize it, or many other people recognize this. That you're creating music all day and recording. That in the end, when I'm done, I don't listen to music anymore.
Yeah, you're
I'm
100
tired.
percent right.
I want to, yeah, right, relax. So the music I listen to is usually to get inspiration, or browsing what's up, or get lost into a song that's yeah suddenly comes up in the Spotify playlist. Um, yeah, stuff
So
like that. Actually.
so what's your work schedule like?
Um, I try to be quite strict about this and really plan in all the work I do. So I'm not lying. I won't lie. I'm not getting ready at 9 a.m. and working right away. I will get up at 9:30, and then hopefully around 11:30, I will sit in my little studio and start working. And I can work all day if I have to, till 10 in the evening. And then, of course, I take lunch breaks and stuff.
Yeah, like
And,
5 a day,
and
right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it really depends, but I do work every day. Try to work every day. I plan in my work. I work. I do the deadlines. And then on the other hand, of course, now it's different with the virus and all. But I used to do a lot of sessions. So I would go to people in their studios, or they would come to me, and those things are always planned into the agenda as well.
Yeah, it's
The
fun.
plan.
I used to do that, and like my studio is like I guess the best independent studio. So all my friends, all my artist friends would come to me. So I mean, yeah, I miss that. I could say that.
Are you lonely now?
Very.
I do some sessions through Zoom. Do you do that as
I
well?
do. I was doing one last night.
Yeah, it
Listen,
can
maybe
really
you can
work.
join one time.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Uh,
it works, especially with people you already know quite well. So you know what they're thinking, and you know what you're paying attention to, and that is actually fine. I've done some really good songs now,
yeah.
but
What I
I'm happy
realized, what
to
I
not be so independent.
Yeah. So what I realized about Zoom, which is pretty cool, like as long as they have their audio interface connected to Zoom, you can
Mhm.
literally record on your side. You know, I never knew that till like last night. I was recording from someone else. I was recording them playing guitar, which was pretty cool.
You really did that? Oh,
Yeah. It didn't come
cool.
out perfect because like I think they have like a noise gate on the app itself. So it kind of like cuts out, let's say there's like too much low, I guess you could say. It kind of like cuts it out.
Yeah,
So it's you got to really get it perfect.
yeah. But it's good because a lot of the times we'll be writing and we want to lay down the guide demo, and it's perfect for that. And after that, we finish the session, and I'll record it by myself, or the other person will
Yeah, and
record
then
it
you'd send it
themselves.
back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah, it's perfect. Really,
So
it's
what have
cool.
you been doing like over Zoom? Are you writing more, or are you able to produce with other artists?
I'm writing just as much, I think, as before. Um, so just a few songs a week, and also a little bit more by myself, of course. So I write different kinds of things. Sometimes I top line, or that happens a lot. So we have instrumentals and we write songs over the instrumental.
Yeah.
But we also write from scratch, or uh, yeah, we do all these things. I say we, I mean we and all the songwriters in the world. No, I mean yeah, there's a few different kind of ways that I write, and that's good to have that variation going on. So if I'm by myself, it's so easy to just start top lining, of course. But if I feel like I have a different idea in my head and I need to lay down the chords, blah blah, I'll do that. But I'm not a producer, so my demos, my vocals will sound really good, and my
You don't, but do you
production
not
will just
help
be
with
very
do you help with the production of any like songs? Let's say it's an original song. You don't help them like give your ideas here and there.
really depends. If I am with the producer in the room, then yeah, I will definitely sit there and then co-produce when I can. If I have ideas, I will always tell him, and yeah, it really depends. But often it's also that I send off a song and then I will get it back with a complete production. And of
Yeah.
course, I will give pointers if I feel like I need to. But it's usually actually really exciting because they will come up with stuff that I could never come up with.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, like sometimes you want to really get like you typically when you come up with lyrics to a song, sometimes you really like already have that idea going through your head, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And actually, we hope that a lot of the songs, so the songs we write, a lot of them are like in a basic production. They will have a kick, a snap, and some chords, and then really great vocal production. That's usually what I send around to other producers or to my publisher, of course. And you just really hope that this demo reflects the direction you want it to go into.
Yeah.
Production. So it actually, sometimes, of course, you get really surprised. You're like, "Oh my god, I never would have thought of this." But a lot of times, like, yeah, we knew where we were going, or you work with references, so you know where you're going. But yeah, I like co-producing if it's more actually for myself, or I'm partnering up with an old friend and we want to do a track together. Then I really co-produce. But if it's a collaboration where I'm featured, then I really let the producer do their own thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been doing? Have you been like doing anything to give back to the community or the music community, I guess?
Give back to them.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and during this time.
Oh yeah. I don't know. What should I have done?
No, anything locally? I mean, I don't know the
uh,
situation where you live,
yeah.
but
Oh, actually, in the beginning, we did small balcony concert. A friend of mine and I
all right, that's
did
something.
that. Yes, something, right? Yeah, the
Yeah.
neighbors were really happy.
Listen, as
Um,
long as you put a smile on people's faces, that's all that matters, you
yeah.
know? I mean, that's what the
Yes.
entertainment business is built off of.
Yeah, I guess so. It's about connecting. I always say that you have the song and the story you wrote, and then there's the vocalist and the music, and there's the audience. And the vocalist and the music, they are the medium between the story and the audience.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I'm also kind of a perfectionist, as in if we're performing, then I want it to sound well and be done well, and yeah, that's something with a balcony concert. Then you don't really prepare that well. I don't know. It's not really my thing.
It's more of a last minute type of thing, you know?
Yeah,
Last
yeah,
decision. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. But how was your career really developed from when you started?
yeah. Yeah, it changed completely. I started out as a singer when I was quite young, and I used to sing in bands and stuff like that. And also in at the conservatory, there's always a kind of vibe going on. We were studying pop music, but still we were artsy and doing our own thing and playing a lot of performance. I performed a lot, which was great, of course. And yeah, I guess that I would end up, like, I didn't end up because I'm gonna get really old and write a lot of songs, of course, but that I'm working now in a dance scene in a more commercial way. That's for some people that I've known when I was younger, they're like, "What, Ming, you?" Because when I was younger, I would think authenticity is everything, and I thought that commercial music wasn't authentic at all. Of course, I know I'm wrong now, and there's so many ways to look at music, and I actually love that about music. But for me personally, it really changed a lot. It really developed,
Yeah.
and in a sense of the skill of being a musician, a singer, and a writer, I learned to write much quicker and not just be an intuitive writer, but control all the aspects of writing and yeah, work like that. And also as a singer, by recording so much and putting out so many songs, I still get better every time I record, and I love that. That still, after so many years, you can keep growing.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, so as an artist myself, like I have this serious problem, like when it comes to writing music, especially like when you go a different route with a song. How do you really go about writing your music?
Um, how do I go about writing music? So people, let's say, sometimes people say, where do you get your inspiration from, right? Does that sort of
Yeah, that kind of
connect?
goes with it.
Yeah. And for me, it's like whenever I start writing, it will always spark new things. So the words, the melody, the chords, the even the concept, it just like get the ball rolling and will just start coming. And of course, I know moments where you feel like you're stuck. You're like, I don't know where to go anymore.
Yeah,
But
happens
then,
all the time.
yeah, that happens. But I've learned not to get frustrated or anything. I just keep going. I just Google stuff, listen to music, open books, start finding words, go listen to songs, go through older ideas. And I've learned that it's really part of the process to sometimes get into that struggle, and then emerge from it fresh and with all new ideas. So I've learned to really view it as work and just keep working in that sense.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, but there's always these times when you really like get to that point where you're like stuck and you can't get anywhere else. How do you overcome those?
Yeah, the same.
Really?
I just
I guess
yeah,
you
yeah,
just
yeah.
I guess you just have this like talent of writing that no one else does.
I don't know. Maybe it's also experience because, of course, I remember the getting frustrated and stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm also a teacher. I teach songwriting at a music university,
Oh
and my
wow.
students are young. They're just starting out. They're 19 or so, and they still have this, right? They get angry and they're like, "Oh, fuck it, I suck. I can't do this." But I always tell them like, "No, keep going, and tomorrow you will finish the song." And this whole struggle was supposed to be part of your process. It's why you open up these new doors in your brain. Um, that's what I believe. Of course, so I do still know these moments of frustration, but that's usually when I want to something in a certain way and I can't get it. I'm like, oh, I suck. Why can't I just sing it like that? So of course, yeah, it happens.
So what's the process of writing a song for you?
Mm, usually I'll start out with the melody. The melody, like depending if I'm writing for an instrumental, then of course I already have the chords and harmony and the vibe and the BPM, etc. So I will find melodies that set about this atmosphere that we're looking for, and then after that we will start. Of course, I always write in gibberish, so the I don't know where you. It will sound super weird
Yeah, I
for
know what
you.
you're talking about.
Like Englishy, half English. But sometimes it gives you a lot of hooks already. It can really like help you subconsciously write a cool hook or get words or the right vowels in the right places. And I try to be strict with that too, because if I use an O and an I and a Z somewhere, then usually it's because it feels really good, and I try to create my lyrics or write my lyrics to fit um, with the guide vocal or the gibberish vocal.
Yeah. So are there any
Yeah.
guidelines that you follow when writing your music, or is it just whatever comes to mind I work with?
No, I do really keep in mind the build up and the structure. So, especially in dance, of course, we're working towards the drop. And when
Yeah.
the drop comes, yeah, it's got to be like level 20. So, I really try to find ways to start creating tension to build up the tension. And then I really pay attention to hey, did I just start the verses on the one with long notes and small hooks there? Then maybe the pre-chorus I'm gonna start upbeat and try to find a new rhythm, and maybe use the hook there that I'm gonna bring back in the chorus or whatever. So I really try to keep an overview on everything, because I always say that the pre-chorus or your chorus or your drop is better because of everything that comes before it, because you set it up the right way. And of course, a lot of the melodies will come intuitively. They will just flow out of you because you know where. But sometimes you get lost in the many, many possible variations. Like
Yeah.
this melody is okay, but this maybe is okay, and then so you need to find the one that suits what you want to say. That's actually the thing.
Yeah. So what's the ultimate direction for your music?
The ultimate direction. Do you mean? What do you mean? The song, the kind of
No, no,
song,
no.
or
I'm saying like within your career.
oh yeah. So at the moment, it looks like I will I will get that one hit with the 600 million streams and the crazy, crazy amount of airplay. And I don't mind if it's with me as an artist, but as long as it's with me as a writer.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, that also happens. And actually, I like that too when you can write for different vocalists. Or it also happened that we wrote the song together in a small group with my voice, but they wanted a bigger name on it, for example.
Yeah, a lot of
So
record labels like to bring in like more notable artists, I guess, or singers.
yeah, of course, it sucks for your royalty percentages, but and for your profile. But yeah, no, it's still cool if you're like, so if this big name is gonna like make this song sound super great and yeah, stuff like that. So I've had songs that done quite well, have a few million here, blah blah, blah, some airplay. So it's good, it's going well. But of course, there's always this one big hit that people around me have gotten. They got that one? It's very possible. So that should be in the future somewhere.
So were there any resources that helped you? I mean, you said you had the publishing company that helped you out, but was there anything that really helped you from the start, like when you started writing or singing?
Um, so I've had a management with me for a long time, even from when I have my other project, Mingue Pretty Heroes. So we know each other very well. But I think I grew up to be a very independent artist, like so many of us now, of course.
Yeah.
And I always see the DJs. I'm like, you guys and the producers, you guys are hustlers. I'm not that good. They are really hustling and trying, like, that's really cool. But I mostly I love to just work on the songs and create that stuff. So I'm not that good at the hustling. But what I did was just see what I needed to learn. So I knew I was, for example, gonna have to be able to record the vocals professionally. I should be able to record the final vocals by
Yeah.
myself. So then I just found a producer that I sometimes work with and said, okay, you gotta give me a few lessons. So I'm gonna pay you, teach me how to do this. And then so I call in help when I
Are you
need
talking
to.
about the mixing and mastering of the vocals or?
Mostly recording, editing, and mixing it.
All right.
So yeah, stuff like that. And so I would never really do the final vocal mix. But as you know, the demos have to sound super good and really sell themselves. So these mixes, I will have to be able to do. So yeah, but professionally, like the actual collaborations and these things, yeah, that was the publisher. Definitely important for me. Sure.
So what's your favorite memory related to your career?
Oh, I have a few, but one of them is I played a tour in China. That was back when I was with the band. We did 2 tours, and we actually played.
Wait,
the
you didn't
biggest
mention
show.
that you were in a band.
Oh, sorry, Mingue Pretty Heroes. That was the band.
All right, no problem. Continue.
I did 2 albums. It was different. It was old school. Like you make pre-productions like on Pro Tools or something, so in your computer. But we would go to the studio, all of us, and then record everything like live instruments.
That's
So
awesome.
super fun. Yeah, super fun. And then we started actually integrating the music through Ableton, and of course everything was changing. The tour in China, we just did big festivals. We had 7,000 people cheering for us, and I am half Chinese also, so it was just so fun to be able to accomplish that for yourself as an independent artist. And after that, I guess the cool stuff became the writing camps for me. And what's very cool, it's when people text me like, "Hey, I'm here and I hear your song," but that never happened to me. It's like they send me all these videos. Even my sister was in Mexico. She was at a party on a rooftop and she was hearing my song a few rooftops over. She was like, "Hey, that's my sister." And she would send me a text course. "Hey, here you."
That happens to me sometimes. Like I'll have like a friend, they'll send me a video of my music being played in the gym or in the car, and it's I find
Yeah,
it really
Jim.
funny. It's so like it's like it's really heartwarming, I guess, because you work towards this goal of yours that you really want people to realize that your music is out there. And I'm not talking about the popularity and all that. You just want to really make people happy and let people really hear what you're expressing through your music. And I feel like that's awesome when you get to hear the feedback from people.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah. And I even a few of these songs they were played, for example, in all the Zara's and H&M's and actually a few gyms. And then especially to get messages from the States like, "Yeah, I work in H&M and I hear your songs." So
That's
it's just,
awesome.
it's heartwarming. You're right. It's amazing. Yeah.
So if you could
Um,
collaborate with any artist, who would it be?
Oh, I would definitely want to collaborate with Calvin Harris.
Yeah, I think I was listening to one of his songs before. He's really awesome.
Yeah.
But I feel like the one problem with him now is like his music really developed from like more of a dancey type of vibe to more of a poppy type of vibe, which isn't a problem. It's just to me, it's like I used to listen to Calvin Harris for that, but
Yeah, I guess so. Um,
but it really depends what you want out of a song with him, you know?
yeah, I guess I. So the thing is, all these software programs these days, a lot of people can produce something. To make something is not that hard, but there is a difference between hearing something that's really good and like actually getting that vibe and then really having that groove or whatever. And yeah, that's still rare. I think that's cool, even though it's not easy to make music, of course, but it's fairly easy to just make something.
Yeah.
But luckily, there's still the ones that really stand out. And I guess Calvin Harris is one of those. But of course, many producers are super good. Also, you don't really know which producers still do their own work.
Yeah, and I spoke about this with Haley Reinhart. I don't know if you know her. Um,
I listen to almost all of the podcasts, not everything, but a lot of it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was speaking to her about that. Like some people, they just, I guess they pay for their, like let's say someone wants to hire a singer, right? Let's say I hire you, and I pay you to not put your name there. It kind of
Hmm.
defeats the purpose of collaboration, you know?
Yeah, almost, I guess, but it happens a lot.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of part of the business, but you know, as a collaboratory business, it really defeats that purpose. But listen,
Well, yeah,
the industry is industry, you know?
yeah, but it's. I actually recently had a situation like that. Of course, I'm not going to mention any names, but we wrote a very cool track, and through a different producer, it came to a bigger producer, and he and his team they really liked it. Um, but then they just started the way they talked about it and the way they started the negotiations, which not they weren't really negotiations. It was so terrible. It felt like they had zero respect for the work we did
Yeah.
or the song. Or it was like, we're not talking about a chair, or maybe if the then that's nothing is the right example because even the chair was designed by someone with who put in their heart, and it was really hard. And then I realized, yeah, they just saw this music piece of music as a product, and I guess yeah that I had to really put my emotional emotions
Yeah.
aside because of course I want this deal to go on and I want this project to work and I want them to go work with it, but I really had to put my ego aside and yeah, so
That's not
it's
even
hard.
ego, you know? That's just like you work so hard to get to somewhere and like even the big fish in the sea, like most of them are very nice. Like I've met some bigger artists that I happen to become friends with because I feel like they're just genuinely good people. And then some of them
Yeah,
are just so full of their ego, and I feel like that's such a big problem that we have in this industry.
yeah, it's like a power trip though. maybe the management, their whole team, they feel like we can make you do anything because we
Yeah.
can make or break this
It's like
song.
once we have the audio file, it's like you're screwed, you know?
Yeah, yeah, could be. Yeah, this is by far the worst negotiation I ever witnessed. But yeah, the thing is, every negotiation, every release is so different, and it still surprises me. How can I be able to get this many royalty percentages for this song, but only this many for that song?
Yeah.
And um, yeah, sometimes you have to like really beg for a fee, and another time they will just say agree because of course you worked for it, so you will get your fee. Yeah, it's really interesting. But yeah, it's the industry. And I think the painful thing is that mm, the cultural sector, so the culture everywhere in the world is having a hard time because of course it's not really a business model. It has to do with other things like values of different kinds. But then to be getting such a hard time from people within the industry, so you're all creators and you release, you're an A&R, and then to have a label try to screw you over, that's painful.
It is.
I think
It
if we all
definitely
were
is.
honest and transparent about these things, it could be a lot better. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's not. Of course, I don't want to sound like everything's bad because it's not at all. But you see these things happen every once in a while.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously the industry has like such a dark side to it, but how do you feel about like the internet really impacting the industry?
Yeah, that's so interesting. So whenever you release a song, you don't. It doesn't matter where you're from, or yeah, that's great. So yeah, it will just be heard globally, except for countries where they don't use Spotify. That's more difficult. And then, so for example, I have a track out with Faruk Sabanci. He's from Turkey, and somehow the track was released with a Greece label, but licensed to Russia and Belarus and Ukraine, blah blah. And it was a top 40 hit in Russia, so it was on the radio all the time. But I've never heard it, and I can't really see it. The only sign I got is the over a million Shazams. That's it. But on Spotify, it's 4 million streams, or not something like crazy, or on Apple Music, because they have their whole own system going on there.
Yeah.
It's really hard to track and to feel. I don't really feel anything. So yeah, that's different. That's when I miss the internet. I'm like, couldn't just everyone use Spotify?
It's kind of like Amazon. I know they have like a UK version. I don't know what is it? Is it like a different cuz I know in America it's like amazon.com, and then in UK it's like uk.amazon.com. What is it like in the Netherlands?
Yeah, we don't really have Amazon. I mean, of course we know of it, but it hasn't launched here yet.
Really?
No. Yeah,
That's
I think we're a
crazy.
too small country.
No. I don't know. That's very interesting. I didn't know that.
And also because they sell all kinds of shit, right? That's Amazon. They sell books, CDs, blah blah, anything.
Everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So we already have two of those here in Holland that are doing really well. So I think it would be hard for Amazon to. I heard something about this, an article or a podcast. I don't know. It's hard for Amazon to start here now. They're a bit late.
Wow. That's
They
crazy.
probably still will.
Yeah, they'll probably be fine without you guys anyways.
Yeah, sure. Because we're only 16, 17 million people, so we're good. They're good.
Listen, I don't
Yeah.
know. That's a retail. I mean, online retail is like a crazy business to get into, and especially like with Amazon nowadays, everything's just made it so much harder. Because I know my family, we're into retail. I feel like we're getting more into business rather than music, but we'll
Yeah.
continue. Whatever.
We'll start back.
Yeah. So we have retail stores, and it's really like it did really well in the beginning, and it still does. But ever since like Amazon and big companies like that came out, it's really like taken a big toll. And we're in the more like the stores we have are like more into the I guess not great communities, for the lower income and things like that. So that's really what's keeping it going, because the
All right.
prices are very like marked down.
Mm-hmm. I get it. Yeah. So you need to find your audience.
Exactly. Everything like
Online.
sorry, continue.
Oh yeah, outside of the online community, you need to find your audience.
Yeah, it's kind of like music in general. Like you gotta find out where or what country or what state people are listening to this music. Because if you go down west in America, people aren't listening to dance music. They'd probably be listening to the more country type vibes.
Yeah,
But yeah, I feel like I feel like
that's interesting. Because of course America is so big and everything is going to be different per state probably, and
yeah,
Holland is quite small, of course. And so what Germany and France have, and even Belgium, the country surrounding us, they have this percentage of music on the radio that has to be from German artists, or we call this national artists. Sorry.
yeah,
So, but we in Holland don't have that. So almost 100% of the music will be American or from the UK, and then a little bit will be from Holland, and mostly dance because we do have big dance labels here, Armada, Spinning Records. These are all from Holland. So it's really hard to get any airplay here. But if you go release something in Germany with German people and they have a German management, and then yeah, then somehow it's possible to get some airplay, which is good, of course, for us as writers. It's a way to make a living, and we need the airplay.
yeah. And to prove your point, like, what the first time I had a hit song, it really took off in Germany. It was like top 13 in their Spotify charts there for like a good couple of weeks. And like I was going through the music, it was either like locals, because you could tell by the names, like they have their German names. So it's either the locals, the big artists like Marshmello and Marine, because at the time it was like I think Happier. No, Friends was out with Anne Marie,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like either you got the big guys, you got the locals, or you got me, because I was like the only one that wasn't a big artist.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, it was really cool, what sucks about it too is like I didn't get to know if it went on the radio or not.
Yeah.
Because it
So
really,
right now there are these new tools that you can find out more
yeah,
easily.
you can. I
Yeah.
think 1001 track list. You know what I'm talking about? That website. I think they're making it more easy to see where your music really goes, but they
Yeah.
still haven't figured out the radio situation.
They haven't. When was this again? Your song on the radio?
So I think this was in 2017.
2017. Okay, so the money should be on the way now, on your way.
No,
Or is
it came already.
Yeah. Okay,
but
good.
but I didn't get to hear. I didn't get to like get a clip of it. It was annoying, but
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's too bad. Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. I think Germany is one of my top countries on Spotify.
It's still mine. It's kind of crazy. I
Yeah,
don't know
that
how.
was
And like I'm Jewish, so like it's kind of weird, you know.
something to
Um,
Yeah, yeah, I get but they're cool. In Germany, they still really love music. They still have respect. I did a tour once through Germany. It's a while back, but I really noticed the immediate difference between playing in Holland or playing in Germany.
yeah, they have some
Yeah,
insane clubs out there too. I was actually watching a video once. They have this like one club that goes on for like days and days, and like
yeah, Berghain,
it,
Berlin.
it, you know it.
Yeah, yeah, I've been there. The
You've been inside.
Berghain.
I guess
Yeah.
you're not going to tell us what it's about, but
Well,
um,
I was surprised because it's fun, but it's actually just a club. But
really,
it's just, I guess it gets nastier. I mean, I
yeah,
didn't
that's what they're
stay.
paying you to say, right?
Yeah, you had to put a sticker over your camera on your
Yeah,
phone.
no. I saw this video. It was like insane. I
Yeah, I
don't know.
think there must be crazy stuff going on, but there's also parts that are just like a regular club. And if you
Really?
don't stay until like the next day and the next day, I think you'll be okay.
That's crazy. I heard it's
But
super hard to
fun.
get in.
Yeah, it's hard to get in. I know people that we got lucky twice, I guess, but it's hard to get in. And also, I remember this one thing that was really interesting because it's an electronic music club, of course. But I remember this DJ was playing, and his audience, I mean, they were obviously all high, but they were just
Yeah.
like going to the floor, like doing a big dance and facing him. And I was like, this is like a weird concert almost. It's
Yeah.
not like dancing at the club or anything. But it's cool because it was artsy. It was artsy. It was deep. It was artistic.
Yeah,
It's cool.
that's really interesting. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like the mystery about it really like got me thinking. It was cool. I don't know. But
Yeah, if you get the chance to tour in Germany,
yeah, one day hopefully.
years.
After the coronavirus, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But all right.
GG.
So I think this is the end. I want to thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it. Is there anything else you want to say to the people?
No, I want to thank you.
Thank
Thank you for having me,
Of
and thank you
course.
for want to talk to me about this.
Yeah,
It's nice.
especially like I feel like in a time like this, collaboration, whether it's a podcast or music, is very important. So
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
rarely talk about music, so we just do it. So thank you. It was
Of
nice.
course. So yeah, guys, this is the end. Be sure to follow her. Where can we find you?
Mingue official for Instagram, everywhere. Mingue official.
That's MINGUE official. Go and follow her, and while you're at it, you might as well follow us at Music Talk Official. And yeah, thank you for watching, guys.